Hello. Hi, guys. Sorry, running a little bit behind. Yogis and technology. All right. So I have a Vinyasa flow planned for this evening. We'll get started here in just a moment. I know I'm already running a couple minutes behind schedule. So for class this evening, if you have a mat, that's great. Just an open space is all you really need. If you have blocks, you don't have to use blocks. One second here. So if you have blocks, grab blocks. If not, you can always use a towel or anything else you have nearby. Sweatshirt rolled up. If you have a strap, you're welcome to use one. You don't need one. Sometimes it's nice to have all those props just to have options, but it's not required for what we're going to do today. So go ahead, get yourself settled, get what you need. I'm going to be playing a little bit of music in the background. You're welcome to pick out whatever playlist you like. If you don't have a playlist, shoot me a text. I'm happy to send one to you. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. We're just going to get started in a child's pose. So you can bring your knees the width of the mat or wider if you like, big toes touch. And then hinging from your hips, start to fold forward. Make this child's pose really restorative, so you can keep a really generous bend in the elbows. You can rest your forehead on your hands or on the block. If you like, you can close your eyes. Settling into your space here. And starting to turn your awareness inward. And start to notice your breath. Notice your inhales, notice your exhales. And then notice how your body moves with the breath. Feel your lungs, your ribcage expand on your inhales. And then feel the belly, the chest fall on the exhales. Settling in. And then on your next inhale, start to make your child's pose a bit more active. Start to take the bend out of the elbows, walking your fingertips toward the top of your mat. Start to press your hips back toward your heels, so you're feeling light through the back side of the body, through the sides of the body, starting to open through the hips, through the shoulders. Take a big breath in, walk your fingertips toward the top of your mat. And as you exhale, continue pressing your hips toward the back of your mat. 2 more breaths just like that. Inhale, straightening through the arms. Exhale, letting the belly melt toward the mat. Last breath like this. Deep inhale through the nose. And deep exhale through the nose. On your next inhale, start to shift forward. Go ahead and make your way to a tabletop position. So bring your wrists under your shoulders, walk your knees in under your hips. Keep the tops of your feet flat on the mat. Spread your fingers wide, and on your inhale, drop your belly, lift your chin, lift your tailbone up to the ceiling for cow pose. And on your exhale, round through the spine, bring your chin to your chest, reach your tailbone down, low belly pulse up and in for cat. Inhale, belly drops, chin lifts, hips lift. Imagine the crown of your head and your tailbone touching. And then exhale, round through the spine, forward flexion, navel pulls the spine, pressing into the palms, the knees, the shins, the tops of the feet. Inhale, belly drops, chin lifts, shoulders squeeze together down the back. Exhale, around through the spine, bottom ribs press up to the ceiling. Continue moving through your cat-cows, connecting your breath to your movement. And always okay to add an additional movement here. So if you need to take some movement side to side or take some circles through your neck or through your shoulders. This is always a good time to start to check in physically, just noticing how you arrived on your mat for today. Noticing what's feeling really good, strong and open. And then noticing maybe where you're holding a little bit of tension or a little bit of tightness. If you'd like to open through your wrists or through your forearms, you can turn your fingertips back towards your knees and just bring in a little bit of forward and backward movement here. And if that feels okay, you can move side to side, turning your fingertips out toward the side of your mat and then rocking side to side. Again, there's no right or wrong way to move here, just bringing gentle movement into the body, gentle movement into the spine. Oh, here's Max. Hey, buddies. Thank you. Just woke up from his nap. It's been a tough day for him. And when you're ready, let's come back to a neutral tabletop. Hey, buddy. Flatten through the back. Start to press your shoulders away from your ears. Keep your fingers spread wide. Keep your wrists under your shoulders. And then start to extend your right leg to the back of your mat. So keep your toes floating off the mat. You can point or flex the toes, either one, but keep your two hips in one line. So dial your right hip down in line with your left and your two shoulders in one line. Start to tighten up through the core. So pull the low belly up and in, hug the navel to the spine. We're going to set up for 3 chaturanga push-ups here. Take a big breath in. Find the space between your shoulder blades and lift. And on your exhale, slow control, lower your chin, your chest down to the mat. Inhale, press the mat away. Keep your right leg lifted. Exhale, slowly lower down, chaturanga push-up, elbows, hug the waistline, low belly pulls up and in. Inhale, press the mat away through the palms. Last one, exhale, slowly lower down. Point or flex right toes, keep strong through your back, right lifted leg. Inhale, come back to your tabletop. Staying here, gently set your right toes down to the back of the mat, keeping your right leg extended, right leg straight. Zipping the low belly up and in. On your next breath in, squeeze your left knee into your chest. So coming into a 3-leg plank, if you will. Arms stay straight and strong. Shoulders stay stacked over wrists, fingers spread wide. Press into the palms, press into your index knuckle, into your thumb knuckle. Keep your chin off your chest here. Press your shoulders away from your ears, strong through the right leg. Take one more big breath in, and on your exhale, sweep your left leg back and up, 3-legged downward facing dog. Bend your left knee, open through your left hip. So you can have that right foot in if you like. Your right heel may or may not connect to the mat. Your right knee might be really bent. That's okay. Wherever you are for today, just focus on opening through the left hip, through the left side of the body. So you can take some rolls through the ankle. You can take big circles through the left knee. Again, just opening through the hip. Whatever movement feels good for you, take your time here. Just a few breaths in your 3-legged downward facing dog. Then come back to center. Straighten your left leg out behind you. Close your hips. So down your left hip down in line with the right. Again, your right heel might be floating. Your right knee might be bent. Both are okay. Work to square through the shoulders, pressing into the center of the palms. Take a big breath in. Lift your left heel 1 more inch. And on your exhale, step your left foot between your hands. Gently release your right knee down to the mat. And on your inhale, rise up. Vinyasa, low crescent lunge. So your left knee is stacked over your left ankle. Your knee and your toes are tracking forward toward the top of your mat. And then you're working to stack your shoulders over your hips. Press your hips forward toward the top of your mat. So you're feeling opening through the right hip, through the right thigh, and then lift through the center of the chest. Keep the chin off your chest. Reach your fingertips up to the ceiling. Take a big breath in here. And on your exhale, release your hands to frame your left foot. Grounding into your palms, step your left foot back, tabletop. Knees under the hips, wrists under the shoulders. Tuck your toes, and inhale, hover your knees off the mat just an inch, hovering tabletop, bear pose. Low belly pulls up and in. Start to connect with your Mula Bandha, your Uddiyana Bandha, the two lower energy blocks of the body. They're foundational for the rest of the movements we'll be doing through class. Take one more inhale here, lift between the shoulder blades. And on your exhale, gently set knees down. Untuck the tops of your feet, hips to heels, child's pose. You can make this more of a narrow child's pose, keeping the knees, the thighs under the chest if you prefer. You can come back to where we started, knees wide, hips to heels, it's up to you. But keep your arms nice and straight, or working to straighten them. Tent the palms, just the fingertips connect to the mat, and then rest your head between your arms. 3 rounds of breath here. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. Maybe with each breath, creating a little bit more space through the shoulders, through the back side of the body, through the sides of the body. One more inhale here. And one more exhale. On your next inhale, shifting back to our tabletop position, moving through the same sequence on the other side. So this time, go ahead and start to extend your left leg to the back of the mat. Float your toes off the mat. Try to take the bend out of your left knee. And notice if your hip is lifting, try to dial it back down. Think about spiraling your left inner thigh up to the ceiling. Point or flex the toes, your choice. Pick one, stick with it. Wrists under shoulders. Take a big breath in. And on your exhale, slowly lower down for chaturanga push-up on the left side. Hug your elbows to your waistline. Lower your chin. Lower your chest. Keep your left leg lifted. Inhale, press the mat away. Exhale, slowly lower down, navel to spine. Take your time. Inhale, press the mat away through the palms. Last one, exhale, slow lower with control, elbows hug waistline. Inhale, press the mat away. Coming back to your tabletop, tuck your right toes, untuck right toes. Gently set your left toes to the back of the mat. Zip your low belly up and in, and on your inhale, hug your right knee in toward your chest. So not only are you squeezing the knee into your chest, squeeze your right heel toward your right hip. Left leg stays super strong here. Keep your shoulders stacked over your wrists, arms straight and strong, chin off the chest, low belly pulls up and in. Take one more inhale here. And on your exhale, sweep your right leg back and up, 3-legged downward facing dog. Again, bend your knee, open your hip, let your right heel fall over to the left side. And then stay here, start to take some movement, circles through the ankle, or big circles through the knee. Know that movement is always an option. You can always hold in stillness, just feeling the stretch, feeling the opening through the front side of the right thigh and through the insides of the thighs. So it's up to you. Just a few more breaths here. And when you're ready, meeting in a 3-legged downward facing dog, straighten your right leg behind you, square your shoulders to the top of your mat, pressing into the center of your palms. Take a big breath in, lift your right heel 1 more inch, and on your exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. Release your left knee down to the mat, untuck left toes, and on your inhale, sweep arms up to frame the ears, Vinyasa, low crescent lunge. So right knee stacks over right ankle, right knee, right toes track toward the top of your mat, and then you're stacking your shoulders over your hips. Try to pull your low belly away from your right hip crease. Chin off the chest, arms frame ears, working to straighten arms and working to reach the fingertips up toward the ceiling. Take a big breath in here, create space through the front, through the sides of the body, and on your exhale, release your hands to frame your right foot. Step back to your tabletop position. Wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, tuck your toes. Inhale, hover your knees off the mat. Second, hovering tabletop. Bear pose, maybe a little bit of a gentle round in the spine. Navel pulls to spine. Arms are straight and strong. Take one more inhale here. And on your exhale, lift your hips, back it up. First downward facing dog of class. Always okay if you need to take a little bit of movement, a bit of a warm up here. Take all of those fidgets out of your downward facing dog, whether it's pedaling through the heels or bending the knees, moving the hips from side to side. Maybe shaking the head out, shaking the neck out. And then meeting back in a static downward facing dog. So spreading the fingers wide, working to straighten the arms. And then dropping shoulders away from ears. Think about broadening through your upper back. Create a nice flat back. Hug the low belly up and in. So same sensation that you felt in your hovering tabletop. Find it here in your downward facing dog. And then know that it's always okay to bend your knees as much as you need to in your downward facing dog. Downward facing dog is not about getting your heels to touch the back of your mat. It may happen over time, but it's never a guarantee. When you're ready, look to the top of your mat. Step your feet forward, big toes touch, Uttanasana, fold forward over your legs. Again, bend your knees as much as you need to. Shift your gaze to your shins. Relax the back of your neck. Relax the back of your head. On your inhale, come to a halfway lift. Ardha Uttanasana, so bring your palms to your shins or maybe to your thighs. Nice flat back, low belly pulls up and in. Shoulders press away from ears and weight shifts forward into the balls of your feet. Exhale, fold over your legs. Uttanasana, shift the gaze to your shins. Inhale, circle sweep your arms up overhead, mountain pose, Tadasana. Exhale, hands come to heart center at Namaskar. Take a deep breath in through your nose. And an open mouth exhale, let it go. Inhale, look up, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana, tailbone reaches down, lift through the center of your chest. Exhale, hinge from your hips, fold over your legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, weight shifts forward. Exhale, fold, plant the palms, step back, high plank, fingers spread wide. Shoulders over wrists, hips in line with shoulders, core strong, legs strong. For this first one, it's okay to lower your knees down. Actually, for all of them, it's always okay to lower your knees down. But for this one, I'll demo with the knees lowered. With your knees lower, your core is still tight, navel pulls to spine. On your inhale, shift forward so that the tops of your shoulders line up with the tops of your fingertips. And on your exhale, with control, lower halfway, Chaturanga. Inhale to Cobra. Press into your palms, hug the elbows to the waistline, shoulders away from ears, squeeze the glutes, press the tops of your feet into the mat. On your exhale, tuck the toes, lift the hips, back it up, downward facing dog. Take a moment to reset here. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. We'll go through one more sun A, one or two more sun A's together, and then I want to give you some time, some space to move through a few on your own. So when you're ready, look to the top of your mat. Step your feet forward, big toes touch. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana, bend the knees if you need to. Inhale, circle, sweep your arms up overhead, mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center, Namaskar. Inhale, look up, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge from your hips, fold over your legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, shift forward. Exhale, fold, plant the palms, step back, high plank. Option to keep your knees lifted. This time as you inhale, shift forward onto the tips of your toes. And on your exhale, lower way, halfway, Chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog or cobra. If you're an upward facing dog, your hips are lifted, thighs contracted, glutes contracted, shoulders away from ears. When you're ready on your exhale, tuck your toes, lift your hips, downward facing dog. Resetting here, pressing into the center of the palm, shifting the weight out of the back of your wrists, reaching your heels energetically toward the mat behind you. Let's move through one more sun A together. Look to the top of your mat. Step your feet forward, big toes touch. Inhale, half lift. Exhale. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, look up, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold, plant the palms, step back, high plank. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, up dog or cobra, your choice on your back foot. Exhale, tuck toes, lift hips, downward facing dog. All right, I'm going to give you a little bit of time here to move through at least 2 or 3 more sun A's on your own. I think it's important, even though we're practicing virtually or remotely, just to kind of create that time and space for you to move through these sun A's on your own time. You can linger where you want to linger. You can skip what you want to skip. In a couple breaths, we'll meet back in downward facing dog. So take your time. I'm going to see if our music wants to cooperate anymore. And when you're ready, we'll meet in downward facing dog. Also important as we're practicing without the heat to kind of move through a few more sun A's to help us build that internal heat, build that sweat that is usually so easily created for us in our studio. When you're ready, stepping to the top of your mat, come to a hip width distance, fold forward over your legs. So bring your toes behind your wrists, bend your knees as much as you need to. Uttanasana, fold forward, shift the gaze to your shins. Inhale, halfway lift, low belly up and in, weight shifts forward. Exhale, fold over the legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, knees bend. If you need, circle sweep your arms up overhead. And on your exhale, sit your hips low, Utkatasana. So a little bit of a non-traditional chair today, at least for Vinyasa. You want your feet to be hip width distance, your knees to be under your hips, your ankles under your knees, and your heels behind your toes. As always, if it's too much on the neck, the shoulders, to reach your arms away from the crown of your head, bring your hands to heart center. It's always a good option. Press your palms together. Sit your hips low, zip your low belly up and in, so really hug the navel to the spine, and then pull your bottom ribs away from your hip points so you're keeping that lift through the center of your chest. Lots of chair poses today. Again, it's another great way to build heat when you don't naturally have it in the studio. Take one more big breath in, chin off the chest, and on your exhale, release, fold forward over the legs. Planting your palms onto the mat, step your right foot back. So you're coming into a lunge. Bend your left knee, come up onto the ball of your right foot, and then using your core strength on your inhale, rise up, high crescent lunge. So similar to the low crescent lunge that we took in our warm-up, left knee, left toes are tracking forward toward the top of your mat, and then I'm working to stack my shoulders over my hips, at least to start. In the knee, to help square your hips toward the top of your mat, it's a great place to start. Arms frame ears, if it feels okay on the neck, if it feels okay on the shoulders, chin stays off the chest. Take a big breath in, lifting through the center of the chest, create space through the sides of the body. And on your exhale, maybe you're able to sink a little bit lower, working to make that front thigh parallel to the mat. On your next inhale, start to lean forward, reach forward. So keep your core strong. You're not resting your belly on top of your left thigh. Use your core strength to keep your chest lifted. Imagine one straight line of energy through the sole of your right foot, right leg, out through the crown of your head. Arms frame ears. Gaze shifts to your left big toe, chin stays off the chest. Take one more inhale here to reach. And on your exhale, open, warrior two, Virabhadrasana two. Take a moment to set up this pose. You want your ankles to be under the creases of your wrists. And then your left knee, left toe still track toward the front of your mat. And then your right foot, the outside edge is parallel to the back of your mat. Drop your shoulders away from your ears. Arms are parallel and fingertips reach apart. Turn your left palm up toward the ceiling. And on your inhale, reverse your warrior. Keep that depth you've created in your front left leg. Keep sinking your hips down toward the mat and create space through the left side of your body. Take one more inhale here. And on your exhale, cartwheel your hands to frame your left foot. Plant your palms, step back to your high plank. Inhale to shift forward, exhale to lower. Inhale, space through front side body. Exhale, tuck your toes. Lift your hips, make your way back to your downward facing dog. Resetting here. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose. Moving through this same sequence on the opposite side, look to the top of your mat. Step your feet forward into that hip width distance, fold forward over your legs. Again, bend your knees as much as you need to in your forward fold here. Inhale, halfway lift, palms to shins or palms to thighs, weight shifts forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, circle, sweep arms up overhead, mountain pose. Exhale, sink your hips low, Utkatasana, chair pose. Pick up where you left off. Sink your hips down toward the mat, shift your weight back, lift through the center of your chest, chin stays off the chest, low belly pulls up and in. Take one more inhale here, fingertips reach away from the crown of the head. Exhale, fold forward over the legs, Uttanasana. Grounding into the palms, this time step your left foot back. So we're starting in that lunge position. Hands frame your right foot, right knee stacked over right ankle, and you're up on the ball of your back left foot. Using your core strength when you're ready, inhale, rise up, high crescent lunge. Right knee, right toes tracking toward the front of your mat. Use your core strength to lift through the center of your chest and square your hips, your shoulders toward the top of the mat. So again, you might have a bend in this back left knee here. That's a good place to start. Shoulders drop away from the ears, but fingers stay reaching up toward the ceiling. Chin stays off the chest. Take a big breath in here through the nose, lengthen through side body. And then exhale, maybe you're able to create a little bit more depth, working to make that front right thigh parallel to your mat. On your next inhale, start to lean forward, reach forward. Use your core strength here, strong through this back left leg. Press off of your left toes. One straight line of energy from the sole of your left foot through your leg, your chest out through the crown of your head. Arms stay framing ears if it feels okay on the neck, on the shoulders. Back stays flat, gaze shifts to your right big toe. One more inhale here. And on your exhale, open, warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Take a moment to adjust your feet, your foundation. You want the heel of your front foot to line up with the arch of your back foot. Both legs are engaged here. Shoulders stack over hips. Shoulders drop away from your ears. Arms are parallel to the mat. Fingertips reach apart. Turn your right palm up to the ceiling. And on your inhale, reverse. Create space and length through the right side of your body. And keep bending your right knee, dropping your hips down toward the mat. One more inhale here. On your exhale, cartwheel hands to frame your right foot. Plant the palms, step back. Inhale to shift forward, exhale to lower halfway or all the way, your choice, moving through your flow. Moving through your vinyasa. Breath to movement. Connection, always more important than momentum. Meeting in downward facing dog when you're ready. Moving through this same flow, adding on just a little bit. When you're ready, look to the top of your mat. Step your feet forward, hip width distance, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold Uttanasana. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, sink your hips low, Utkatasana, chair pose. So you can stay right here if you'd like to add on. Take a big breath in, lift your chest, and on your exhale, connect your belly to your thighs. Thighs are parallel to the mat. Fingertips reach back. Palms face down. Active through the fingers. Squeezing the triceps together. Squeezing pinky fingers together. Shoulders away from ears. Inhale, come back to Utkatasana, chair pose. Exhale, release. Fold forward over the legs. Uttanasana. Grounding into your palms. Step your right foot to the back of your mat. Zip your low belly up and in. Inhale, rise up. High crescent lunge. Exhale to stay. Sink your hips low, square your hips, your shoulders to the top of your mat. Inhale, lean forward, reach forward. Back is nice and flat, low belly pulls up and in, chin stays off the chest. Inhale to lengthen, exhale, open, warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. I see that Max is passed out behind me. Doesn't find yoga very interesting. That's fine. Turn your left palm up toward the ceiling. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Lengthen space through left side body. And then on your exhale, cartwheel, hands to frame your left foot. This time pivot onto the ball of your right foot and then gently release your right knee down to the mat. We're coming back to that same low lunge where we started. So when you're ready, inhale, rise up. Anjaneyasana, low crescent lunge. So I'm going to give you an option here. If this is where you want to stay, you're more than welcome to. Or you can add on, cactusing the arms, bringing the elbows in line with the shoulders, and adding a back bend. So taking a deep breath in, start to lift your chin, lift your gaze, create lots of space through the front side of the body. Again, think about pulling away your low belly from your left hip crease and squeezing your shoulders together down your back. Always important on your back bends to move with your breath. So if you notice you're holding your breath, or if you notice that your breath is catching, just do a little bit less. If you're in your back bend, go ahead and uncurl, come out, hands frame your left foot, hands come onto the mat, and then just start to lift your right foot off the mat. Start to curl your heel in toward your hip. So if you want a little bit of extra cushioning under your knee, turn up the side of your mat as you pull your heel to your hip. Keep your chest lifted, shoulders press away from ears, and really active flex through the right toes as you push your right heel toward your right hip and push your hips toward the top of your mat. 2 rounds of breath here. Inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the nose. And then gently release your right foot down. Toes stay tucked, release the mat if it's curled up. Hands frame your left foot. Lift your right knee off the mat. Step your left foot back to meet your right, so big toes touch. And then grounding into your right palm, inhale, open, Vashisthasana, side plank. Shoulders stacked, ribcage stacked, hips are stacked. And lots of variations here, so you can drop your bottom knee as a kickstand for a little bit of extra support. You can drop your top foot as a kickstand, again, for a little bit of extra support. Or if you're looking for more, start to float your left foot off of your right. Both legs straight, pressing into the center of the right palm. Core stay strong. One more big breath in. On your exhale, release. Come to your high plank. And then move through your flow. Move through your vinyasa, knowing that you can add on or skip. Just as I'm doing, you can step back to your downward facing dog. And that's where we'll meet. When you're ready, we're going to move through the same flow on the left side. So looking to the top of your mat, step your feet forward, toes behind wrists, fold forward over the legs. Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, sink your hips low, Utkatasana, chair pose. Again, you have the option to stay here if you're looking to add on. Big breath in. Exhale, connect your belly and your thighs. Arms sweep back. Palms down, weight shifts back, core stays strong. Try to make your thigh bones parallel to the mat. Inhale, back to Utkatasana, chair pose, chest lifts. Exhale, release, fold forward over your legs. Pressing into your palms, this time step your left foot to the back of your mat. Right knee stays stacked over right ankle. When you're ready, inhale, rise up. High crescent lunge. Shoulders stacked over hips, hips and shoulders square toward the top of your mat. Take a big breath in, and as you do so, lean forward, reach forward, low belly up and in. Chin off the chest, arms straight ears. One straight line of energy through your left leg, your chest out through the crown of your head. One more inhale here to lengthen. Exhale, open warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Sit low in your right leg, arms parallel to the mat. And then turn your right palm up to the ceiling. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, cartwheel hands to frame your right foot. Plant your palms, pivot onto the ball of your left foot. Release your left knee down to the mat. Inhale, Anjaneyasana, low crescent lunge. So right knee stays stacked over right ankle. Hips press toward the top of your mat. Again, you have the option to stay here, or you have the option to add the back bend. Elbows in line with shoulders. Take a deep breath in, lift through the center of your chest. And on your exhale, move into your back bend. When you're ready, uncurl. Release your hands to frame your right foot. And then start to pull your left heel in toward your left hip. Active flex in the toes. And again, you can roll up the edge of your mat if you like. But you don't really want to be pressing directly onto the top of your knee. Try to scoot your knee back so as you pull your heel in toward your hip, you're more on the bottom of your thigh and not pressing directly into that knee joint. Keep your chest lifted, blocks under the hands if you need, shoulders away from ears. 2 rounds of breath here. Opening through the front left hip flexor, through the left thigh. Big breath in, and big breath out. Last one, inhale through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Release your left foot back down to the mat. Plant your palms on the mat. Retuck left toes, lift left knee. Step your right foot back to meet your left. High plank. Bring your big toes to touch at the back of the mat. And on your inhale, open, Vinyasa, side plank. Shoulders stacked, ribcage stacked, hips stacked. Again, you have the option to drop your top foot for support. You have the option to lower your bottom knee for support. Or you have the option to float that top right foot off the mat. Wherever you are, take one more big breath in. Exhale, release to your high plank. Option to move forward through your vinyasa. Adding on, taking away whatever you need. We're moving through our flow one last time. So it's always okay to skip your vinyasa, saving more energy for the flow. You have an idea of what's coming, so you know what's best for you. Resetting in your downward facing dog. Lifting your hips, your sits bones up to the ceiling, pressing into the center of your palms. When you're ready, looking to the top of your mat, stepping your feet forward, bringing your toes behind your wrists, fold forward over your legs, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift, shift the weight forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms reach up overhead. Exhale, sink your hips low, Uttanasana, chair pose, chin off the chest. Option here to stay, or option to connect belly and thighs, reaching your fingertips for the back of the mat. Keep the back of your neck long here, and stay active through the arms. You can stay here. If you're looking for one more challenge, start to shift the weight forward, lifting up onto the balls of your feet as you float your heels off the mat. Pull up through inner thighs, pull up through pelvic floor. Keep your core super strong. One more big breath in. Exhale, release heels down. Inhale, lift your arms, Uttanasana, chair pose. Exhale, release, fold forward over your legs. Pressing into your palms, step your right foot to the back of your mat. Use your core strength. Inhale, rise up, high crescent lunge. Exhale to sink your hips lower. Inhale, lean forward, reach forward, back nice and flat. Core stays strong, pressing off of your right toes. One more inhale here, chin stays off the chest. Exhale, open, warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. Turn your left palm up to the ceiling. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, cartwheel hands from your left foot. Pivoting onto the ball of your right foot, set your right knee down. Inhale, Anjaneyasana, low crescent lunge. Option to stay here. Option to move into your back bend. Big breath in. Exhale to your back bend. Inhale to uncurl. Exhale, release your hands to frame your left foot. So you have the option to move into the same hip flexor stretch we took earlier as you start to curl your heel toward your hip. If you'd like to move a little bit further, ground your right palm to the inside of your left foot. Reach your left hand back to capture your right foot. So you're opening your chest to the left side of your mat. And again, it's the same concept. You don't want to be directly on top of the knee joint. So maybe you're able to scoot your right leg a little bit further back so you're more on the bottom of your thigh. Work to stack your shoulders, opening your chest to the left side of the room, actively pressing the right palm into your mat or into a block. Hope you guys can still see me. The sunset was a little bit stronger than I was expecting today. Keep pressing your hips forward, hugging your left knee toward your midline. Take one more big breath in here. And as gracefully as you went in, come out, gently release your right foot down to the top of your mat. Plant your left palm to frame your left foot. Tuck your right toe, step your left foot to the back of your mat. Big toes touch. Grounding into your right palm, inhale, open, Virabhadrasana, side plank. So pick up right where you left off if your left foot was floating or whatever modification you decided to go into. I will offer, if you decided to float your left foot, you can start to bend the knee, placing it behind you, lifting your hips into wild thing. Just an option. Don't have to do anything that doesn't sound good or like fun to you. You're in Wild Thing, take your time, passing back through your side plank before meeting in your high plank, moving through your vinyasa, or shifting straight back to your down dog, up to you. Moving through our flow one last time. When you're ready, look to the top of your mat, step your feet forward, hip width distance, fold forward over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Inhale, arms reach up overhead, mountain pose. Exhale, sink your hips low. Last Utkatasana, chair pose, I promise. Bottom ribs pull away from hip points, stay here, or big breath in. Exhale, connect your belly to your thighs. Fingertips reach toward the back of your mat. Stay here or start to shift your weight forward. Float your heels off the back. One more inhale here. Exhale, lower heels down. Inhale, arms reach up. Exhale, fold forward, let it go. Pressing into the palms. Step your left foot to the back of your mat. When you're ready, inhale, rise up. High crescent lunge. Exhale, sink your hips lower. Right thigh bone parallel to the mat. Inhale, lean forward. Reach forward, arms to your ears, chin off the chest, fingertips reach toward the front of the room. On your next inhale, reach forward, and on your exhale, open warrior two, Virabhadrasana 2. Turn your right palm up to the ceiling. Inhale, reverse. Exhale, cartwheel, hands down. Pivot onto the ball of your left foot. Release your left knee down to the mat. Inhale, Anjaneyasana, low crescent lunge. Stay here. We're moving into your back bend, cactusing arms. Big breath in, squeeze your shoulders down your back. Notice on your back bend, if your right knee is winging out to the side, you really want to press into the right big toe and hug your right knee toward your midline to protect your low back. Moving in and out of your back bend when you're ready. Gently releasing your hands down to frame your right foot. Again, you have that same option to stay here, just starting to curl the heel in toward the hip, or to move into the bind. So grounding this time into the left palm, pulling the left heel toward the left hip, and then reaching right hand back to capture the foot. Press your hips forward. And again, keep your right knee hugging toward the midline. Press the right big toe into the mat, and then work to open your chest toward the right side of the room. Shoulders are stacked. Easy inhales, easy exhales. When you're ready, gently release, coming out as gracefully and intentionally as you went into the pose. Release your right hand to frame right foot, tuck left toes on the mat, lift left knee, step your right foot back to meet your left. Big toes touch at the back of your mat, grounding into left palm, inhale, open, Vashisthasana, side plank. Again, you have your options. If you moved into Wild Thing on the right, move in on the left, so floating right leg off the mat, bending the knee, stepping right foot behind you, and then lifting your hips, lifting your heart, reaching your right fingertips up overhead. There is no rush here, so when you're ready, come out. Meeting in your high plank, right palm planks. Moving through your flow, your vinyasa. Resetting your downward facing dog. Hips and sits bones lifted up to the ceiling. Taking a big breath in, start to float your heels off the mat, bend your knees, and make your way to a kneeling position. So you can keep the tops of your feet flat, or your toes can be tucked here. It's up to you. You can also add in extra cushioning, rolling up the sides of your mat. If you like, we're gonna be here for a few breaths. So find a space that's comfortable for you. Bring your knees under your hips, stack your shoulders over your hips. We're gonna do a few kneeling lean backs. So you can keep your hands here at heart center, or you can reach your arms forward parallel to the mat. Keep your shoulders stacked over your hips. Core stays nice and strong. Take a big breath in to prepare. And on your exhale, lean back. So try not to round forward. Not to back bend. Keep your back nice and flat. Lifted, engage your quads, squeeze your glutes, low belly up and in, chin stays off the chest. Inhale, come back to center, shoulders stacked over hips, hips stacked over knees. Big breath in to prepare, and on your exhale, lean back. Reach through your fingertips, keep your arms parallel to the mat, hold here, and then slow with control, come back to center. Last one, inhale, lift, exhale, lean back. Inhale, come back to center. Release your hands to heart center. With or without the help of your hands, step your right foot forward so you're coming into a low lunge. Sweep your right arm under your left. So moving into Garudasana arms, equal arms. It's okay if you don't have the full bind. Maybe you're just working to cross at the elbows, reaching for opposite shoulders, or maybe you're just working to press your forearms and your palms together. It's okay, it's a perfect place to start. Start to press your hips forward, and on your inhale, lift your arms, lift your chin, lift your gaze, moving into a gentle back bend. And then on your exhale, round through the spine. Cat spine, chin to chest, press your arms together. Inhale, lift. And exhale, round. Last one, inhale, lift. And exhale, round. Inhale, come back to center. You can keep the eagle arms or start to straighten your right leg and fold forward. Ardha Hamanasana, half splits. So I'll leave it up to you today. I want to keep my foot flat, my right foot flat on the mat, so I feel more of a stretch through my ankle, through my shin. That's what my body needs for today. But if your body needs you to flex your toes back toward your face so you feel more through the back side of the right leg, you're more than welcome to do so. Work to keep your hips square toward the top of your mat. Blocks under the hands, always a good option here. And then work to fold forward over your right leg. And then on your next breath, gently uncurling, using your hands to help you step your right foot back. And then you can reset here at kneeling. Just taking a few deep breaths in through the nose. And deep breath out through the nose. You need to release through your shoulders. You can shrug shoulders down and away from the ears. And coming back to stillness. We're moving through the same sequence on the other side. Bringing your hands to heart center, go ahead and make your way to kneeling. So you want your legs to be at least hip width distance. Your knees are under your hips, and then your shoulders are stacked over your hips. Again, hands can be at heart center, or you can reach your arms straight forward, parallel to the mat. 3, kneeling lean backs. When you're ready, inhale to prepare. Exhale slowly with control, lean back. Legs strong, core strong, taking the back bend out of it, keeping your chest lifted. Inhale, come back to center with control. Shoulders away from ears, fingertips reach forward. Big breath in, lift the chest. Exhale, lean back. Inhale, come back to center. Last one, chin parallel to the mat. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lean back. Tailbone reaches down, navel hugs to spine, fingertips reach forward. Inhale, come back. Hands come to heart center, or if you'd like to use your hands to help you step your left foot forward, coming into your low lunge, left knee, left toes tracking in the same direction. And then this time, left arm sweeps under right. Eagle arms. Again, any variation of the bind is fine. Feel the stretch between the shoulder blades and work to press the arms together. On your inhale, press your hips forward, lift your arms, lift your chin, lift your gaze. And on your exhale, round through the spine. Think cat spine, chin to chest. Low belly pulls up and in. Inhale, lift. And exhale, round. Last one. Inhale, lift. And exhale, round. Inhale, come back to center. Release your hands or keep the bind, it's up to you. We're moving into half splits, Ardha Hamasana. Straighten your left leg, and again, it's up to you. You might want to flex toes back toward the face, or you might want to keep your foot flat on the mat. And then work to inhale, create space, and then exhale, fold forward over your left leg. And you might notice that one side feels really different than the other. That's normal. I usually just try to apply the same amount of effort to both sides. Create a little bit of balance. Over time, hopefully the sides will even out. And then your next breath in, shifting back to your kneeling position. Sit your hips to your heels, hands to your thighs. Resetting here. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the nose. You can close the eyes if you like. Just coming back to the breath. Just notice how your body is feeling. And then go ahead and start to shift forward to a tabletop. Give me 1 second. I'm going to close the blind so you guys can see me, even though I do love having the sun in my face. There, hopefully that's a little bit better. So we're meeting in a tabletop position. We're moving into half pigeon. So if you prefer to move into half pigeon from a downward facing dog, totally fine, your choice. Start to bring your right leg forward. You want to bring your right knee behind your right wrist and your right ankle behind your left wrist. More important than your shin being parallel to the mat is the alignment of your hips. So keep your hips nice and square toward the top of your towel, and your hips aren't quite resting on the mat. Go ahead and place one of those objects beneath your right hip to help with the alignment. You want to be able to rest in this pose as much as you can rest in a hip opener. So take your time here, settle in, make sure that your left leg is directly behind your left hip. You can stay here. This might already be a deep enough stretch for you today. And if you're already feeling it too much in your hip or in your knee, you're welcome to take figure 4 seated, crossing right ankle over left knee, or you can take sleeping pigeon figure 4 on your back. So same stretch, just a little bit less intense through the hip, through the knee. My hope is to only have one set of hips and one set of knees in life, so always good to be super gentle. Help them last as long as possible. And if you're looking to go forward here, you can start to hinge from your hips, folding forward. And again, the block or the blanket or the pillows under your arms or under your forehead. And just to help you further relax into this pose. Noticing the breath. And it's easy as we move into these hip openers that build in intensity so quickly to want to shift maybe just a little bit to the left or a little bit to the right, working to make ourselves just 10% more comfortable. But instead, I encourage you to work to cultivate just a little bit of stillness, knowing that those spots that you maybe feel the most tension are also the greatest opportunities for change in the body. And stay with the breath. Do less if you need to, and do more. Your body's telling you it's okay to push a little bit further. And you're welcome to stay here in your half pigeon to mermaid. We did a lot of opening through the fronts of our thighs, through our hip flexors, through our quads. So if you'd like to move further, you're welcome to. If not, stay resting in your half pigeon. As I move into mermaid, I like to pull my front heel in toward my hip to help create just a little bit more of a stable foundation. If you're super flexible and it's comfortable for you to have your shin parallel to the top of your mat and you don't feel like you're rocking side to side, then you're welcome to keep your heel a little bit further away from your hip. So that's step one. Step two is you're going to take that same movement where you're pulling your heel toward your hip. And again, be really gentle with your knee. If you're having any pain or tenderness, then stay here, even with your foot lifted. Don't go any further. But if this feels okay, then you're reaching your left hand back to capture the top of your left foot. If you have a strap or a t-shirt or really anything that you can kind of wrap around the foot, you're welcome to move into that stretch. But again, really gentle with the hips, with the knees. And as soon as you're feeling any discomfort, especially through the knees, just pause there and don't move further. If you're here and you're ready to move further, you're gonna work your foot into the crook of your elbow. It helps if you're sweaty, so that's why it's nice to kind of work on this in the studio after a nice juicy class, when you have some sweat on your arm to work with. But either way, you're working your foot into the crook of your elbow. And again, maybe you're staying there, that's where you're at for today. If you're moving further, then your right arm reaches up and behind. You're working to interlace through the shoulders too. And then you're working to keep your chin off your chest. So maybe you're able to turn forward toward the top of your mat. Maybe your chest stays open to the side for today. And gentle through the knees, through the hips. You're working toward mermaid. Take a few breaths wherever you are. And then always important to come out the way that you went in. So first releasing the arms. And then gentle, release your foot back down to the mat. And then half pigeon, if you fold it forward, go ahead. We're gonna meet in a tabletop or three-legged downward facing dog, whichever you prefer. I'm gonna move to tabletop. And then you're gonna take some movement through the right side to release through the right hip. So you can extend right leg back and roll your knee forward, rolling it back. Take circles through the ankle. Sometimes just holding downward facing dog feels good, reaching your heels toward the mat behind you. So listen to what your body is telling you. When you're ready, you're gonna move into half on the left. So again, you can come in from a downward facing dog or from a tabletop. Left knee behind left wrist, left ankle behind right wrist, and then slow lower your hips down to the mat. Again, grab a block or a blanket beneath your left hip if you need. You can start to work to make your left shin parallel toward the top of your mat, but more important that your hips are square toward the top edge of your mat. Right leg is directly behind your right hip. And again, you can stay here. You don't have to move further. This might be far enough for you. And again, your two sides, your left, your right side, might feel really different. So maybe on one side you need a block round, and then on the next you don't. It's okay. And just if something doesn't take your time, we're in no rush. You guys know that in my classes, we're never in any rush to get anywhere. Just taking your time, moving slowly, moving with your breath. You're welcome to stay here in your half pigeon if that feels good. If you started to work mermaid on the right, then let's go ahead and start to work into mermaid here on the left. So starting to press into the palms, straighten your arms, lift your chest. Again, just a personal preference. I like to pull my heel in a little bit closer to my hip so that my knee is a bit more in line with the midline of my body than to the left side of my body. And then starting to bend your right heel in toward your right hip. Reach your right hand back. And again, this might be where you're at for today, and that's a perfect place to stay. Over time, your body will change. Maybe you're able to pull your heel a bit closer. And then eventually you're able to hook your foot into the crook of your elbow. And then once you're there, left arm reaches up. And then you're working to interlace fingers or connect palms. You can keep your chest open to the right side of your mat, or again, maybe you start to turn forwards, squaring your chest toward the top of your mat. Keep that lift through the chest. So it's a little bit of a back bend, but not a deep back bend, not like king pigeon. Take one more big breath in, and then coming out the way that you went in, gently set your right foot to back down to your mat. And then meeting in downward facing dog or down to the mat. Bring the soles of your feet together as close to your hips as feels okay on your knees. Know that you can always bring a block or that blanket or through the spine, chest, forward flexion, your forehead towards your toes. Think cat spine here while belly pulls up. Chest. Bring your hands to the outside edges of your knees. Gently draw your legs together. And then gripping behind your thighs. Your legs follow your back flat. So your right shoulder connects to the mat. Your belly, your chest are relaxed. Your right, your left knee stack on top of your right. Again, and your legs might not touch each other. They might not touch the ground. It's okay, just moving in that direction. And the back is nice and flat. Left shoulder presses into your belly, your chest super relaxed. You're just ready to push out any remaining tension in your spine here. If it feels okay, you're shifting your gaze over the shoulder. And again, any arms, you can send the arms straight out like the letter T. Or for the deepest expression of the twist, you can reach your arms up over the other side. Maybe you're able to close your eyes. Just bringing your focus back to your breath. As we come to the end of our class. And then just wrists are opposite elbows. Squeeze your knees together. Squeeze your knees into your chest. Bring your spine. Bring your nose, your forehead to your knees. Last bit of everything into your left in, down on your back. You can come to a seated position if that's more restful for you. You can grab blocks behind the back of your knees, behind the back of your head. Close your eyes. With each exhale, melting deeper onto your mat. Working to relax the physical body. Giving yourself permission here to take rest. You're welcome to stay here in your Savasana as long as you like, as long as you need. If you're ready to start to take your practice off your mat, let's bring some gentle movement into the body, wiggling your fingers, your toes, taking circles with your ankles, with your wrists. Maybe gently moving the head from side to side. And if you're ready, when you're ready, taking a full body stretch, reaching your arms up overhead, reaching your feet toward the front of your mat, taking a deep breath in, lengthening, and on your exhale, pull your knees into your chest. Gently roll to your right or your left side. You can pause there for a few moments. It's always a good time if you'd like to set a new intention to move with you as you move off of your mat. Take a few moments, a few breaths to do so. I just feel like a practice is a good break in your day to kind of reset if you need to. You can pick your attitude, your posture to move with you for the rest of your day. And when you're ready, make your way to a comfortable seated position. Anchoring your sits bones to the mat. Stacking your shoulders over your hips. You can rest your hands in your lap or on your knees. It's up to you. Sitting with a nice flat back. Pulling your shoulders down and away from your ears. And just taking a moment here to notice the space created in your body. Notice new alignment. Just noticing the effects of your practice in your body. Bringing your palms to touch, or against the heart center. Ending in gratitude. Thank you guys so much for being here, for sharing your energy and your practice anytime that you're watching this video. Thank you. Have a wonderful rest of your day, rest of your week. Namaste. Thank you guys. If you have any questions, feel free to find me on Instagram or shoot me a text or an email. Let Phil know if you need my contact information. Thanks for bearing with us as we figure out the virtual classes. Miss you guys. Can't wait to be back in this studio with you soon. Have a great rest of your day.